Today I'm going to be going over some individual stocks that you can do options trading for. For this strategy, now if you first come along and you want to do options trading, you might look at like S&P, and first timers will see that it moves very fast because we can look real quickly how much the S&P moves in a day, but there's companies that are part of the S&P. I want to kind of break it down and go into a couple of them and kind of see if you start with them first, you're not going to make as much as trading something like the S&P, but we can look at the numbers of how much you potentially can make if you do the same thing for individual stocks. So what I want to do is go inside the S&P and look at a couple of the companies that are part of the S&P and see how much you could make if you do options trading with those companies. So we're going to start today with one of the companies that's a part of the S&P, and that's Walmart. So we're going to go over Walmart today. We're going to look at the charts, and we're going to look at it potentially of how much you can make from it. It's not going to be as much as trading the actual S&P. But we'll look at the charts, and we'll also go in the chain, see, do calls and puts and see where the best point would be to get in, and how long to hold position, and how much you actually can make potentially by just trading more, not the S&P, but more just individual companies. Walmart. I'll do a couple companies, and we'll see. We'll see potentially of how much it moves. We really need to check on how much it really moves per day, and then we can kind of calculate how much you could potentially make based off the volatility. So you'll see right here that on Friday I opened up a call for Walmart. So I have it out for a week. I have it out for the 16th, and my little experiment here is to see if I can make enough, if I can make enough passive income. So what we really want to do is we want to look at some numbers. So we're going to go look at Wal-Mart stock. Okay, so what we could tell, and if you guys seen my my last videos, this is just going off of what I've talked about in the last couple of videos. I got the L&L, and I'm not going to go into strategies. I have videos on that. So we're going to look at this on the day. And basically we're going to base Walmart off of what I see. Now, the L&L trend system says we are in a bullish moment. So we look like we are bullish currently. Now, this is Sunday, so it's not moving right now. But when it resumes on Monday, it probably will go up. But we go here to our hour. But real quickly here, I want to check and see how much it really moves by day to get a good idea on how much it moves. Now you can tell right off the bat that it does not have the same amount here. Like the last day here, it moved $1.80, and then the day before moved about $1.60. Right up here, it moved $2.43. So, judging by these numbers here, if you have an account of about $300 and you'd start with one contract, you probably most likely won't lose your profit as long as you find your range within that candle. Okay, so me personally, I have my contract is for the 16th, and see if I can find it. Yeah, it's right there. There's my contract right there. But for anybody else that wants to do trades, I would be getting as close to this dollar as possible. This one is fine in my opinion. So this one goes out till the 16th, which is I think next Friday. So as long as you hit this, this is your break-even point, and if you go past this, you'll be making profit. So like I said, the price doesn't move but $1, maybe $2 if you're lucky. So from 97, you want to plan for at most it can get to maybe 99 within that range. So you can make probably about 50 to 100 to maybe 200 if you're lucky. So let's real quickly just look at the previous. Let's just look at it on the hour here. So we know the trend is going up, so we want to focus on moments when it is going up. So we have a moment right here. So this moment when it crossed on the stochastic from right here to up here would have been a moment. So this was a $19 move. So this was, if you caught this range, you would have made $119. Let's see if we can do. Now that is with just one contract. So basically you want to start up with one contract and you want to start getting, you look like you'll get anywhere from 50 to 100 on most trades. But let's just see if we can find any more. Here's another moment right here. Come in here and you rode this out. Let's just get a day here. This was $100. That trade there was about $100. We have another move right here. It's in the uptrend. The stochastic is going up. So we have this move right here. This took 5 hours. This is about $134 if you found that range. You got another moment right here. So if you got in here and you rode it all the way to the top here. This one was $291 if you got that whole range right there. So trading Walmart, if you find a good trade, you can make anywhere, looks like, from $100 to $200 per trade. So with one contract, you can generally probably make about 50 to $100 per trade on average. So that's by doing it with one contract. So you make anywhere from right around here. You'd make around this per trade just by trading Wal-Mart stock, and that's on a daily basis by finding patterns on intraday level. But if you wanted to scale this up, and let's just say you bought 2 contracts, so that same move there would make you about $200, around $200. You probably make anywhere from $100 to $200 with that same move. So for this to work, you would need, so probably about every $1,000 you can buy another contract, just by what I'm looking at here. So $2,000 to buy another contract, which generally could give you anywhere from $100 to $200 per trade if you find. No, these are just small little trades. So if you scale this up to about 3 contracts and you find that dollar, you'll make about $300. So about $3,000 to make $300 a day. And all you have to do is find that dollar. So in that range of 50 cents to $1, because Walmart stock usually moves, it doesn't move as much as the S&P. It'll move anywhere from maybe 50 cents to $1 on average from what we see. So 3 contracts can get you about 300, because you have to plan for it just to find that dollar, because it looking at the charts, it's very hard for it to go past $1 if you want to do this on an intraday level. So to make more passive here, you can go with 5 here. you go to 5 contracts here and you just try to find that dollar. Now that's going to cost you about $5,000 for the contracts, but if you find that $1, you'll make $500 a week. So it'll cost you $5,000 for the contracts, and all you have to do is find you have to find $1 within that range. So I'm only going to go up to 5 contracts, but you guys, if you want to do more than that, real quickly, if you want to do 10 contracts, it's going to cost you nearly $10,000, but that will give you about $1,000. So, if you put in $10,000 for the contracts, for 10 contracts, and you get to that, you find that $1 difference, you'll make $1,000 basically. Use your own numbers accordingly, but what we can tell by just looking at these charts here, let's just go back here and let's just on average find a intraday move here, just like from here to here. If you want to do this on an intraday level, like from here to here. Well, this one was a good move here. This was an $8 move. You don't find that usually. You don't usually find those big of a moves. Usually they're pretty small. This move right here. Yeah, well this one was a $3 move. So typically it'll move anywhere from, just plan for at least $1, but you'll get lucky if you find anything past $1. Anything past $1, then you're going to have to hold the trade a lot longer than an intraday level. But other than that, that's kind of looking at Walmart and how you can make money trading the stock compared to the S&P. Now, real quickly, I want to look at the S&P, and I'm going to end it on this. If we look at this on the day for Wal-Mart stock, we see how much it moves in a day. So, Wal-Mart stock doesn't move as much as the S&P. This day right here was only $2. This was on, let's just go by day here. Let's check this day. This is Monday, May 5th. So Monday on May 5th, this stock moved $2.42. So let's look at SPY real quick. And let's look at May 5th. May 5th is right here, and we'll see how much it moved on May 5th. Right about here. So about $6. So you'll make more trading the S&P, but if you want to make passive, like 50, if you want to make anywhere from $50 to $100 a day on average, you could try something like Walmart and doing options for it. And it'll create you more of a steady flow. One thing I do like about doing it at Walmart is you don't really have to worry about liquidating, because it's not going to move to a point where it liquidates your balance, because it doesn't move as much as some of the other stocks. So you can really use this formula to trade and kind of create more of a $50 to $100 day passive, and of course you can scale this, and you could scale this up to your liking. But once you get to a certain point, you probably just want to stick with the with the S&P. This is a good way of starting out. You could start out with a stock like Walmart, one of the smaller. It's not a small company, but compared to the S&P, it doesn't move as much. So you can have a smaller balance and then grow it over time. And then when you have enough, you can then go to the S&P or a bigger asset. So Walmart is one of those stocks where you don't have to have a lot to, you can make small amounts here and there, and you can really grow a small account. But the end game here is to have enough to get to the S&P, because a lot of people want to get to those bigger amounts. But anyway, if you guys like this video, make sure to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. I'll see you guys in future videos.